Um, quick rundown of where we last left off. Only 20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes behind schedule here. Um, for posterity's sake, for the 0 viewers at this exact moment, unfortunately, Union and Joseph will not be attending as real life has struck them with the plagues. Rip. Um, where we last left off here in our newly fledgling adventure of the party, the Rebels of the Vanquished. Uh, you have recently returned from trip to Hyam, an escort mission for a ungilded craftsman caravan transporting a large golem-esque creature in pieces spread about a multitude of wagons. During your travels, having been paid specifically that they did not want to travel on the water, and quickly finding out why after several, well, quickly in the long scheme of things, um, that these craftsmen had entrapped in some fashion a water elemental and a fire elemental within their golem, presumably some form of power source to be utilized, but one of which would not come to any completed fruition as the combined efforts of Ideal, Joseph, and the ever so totally not raging Zealous has set the entities free. As a result, a cacophonous fire taking over a quarter of Hyam, but before the party made good their escape and slunk off in the night. Already as wanted fugitives due to other issues, um, utilize the generosity and good services of the Harbormaster's Rest in Hyam to escort them through smuggler tunnels underneath the town and out, and to be on their way, being sure to pay extra for the mounts to be delivered. Um, Making quick trip to Harish, a brief run-in with a black tiefling who had made acquaintance of the party in their stay back in the small town known as Survival. Um, sped on for either his own health or other reasons, as the night before was reported as being a spy hired on by Adil's father to keep tabs on him. Uh, you have all booked passage in Harish. The journey over river, while not swift as it could be, due to very often having to move aside for larger trade vessels, um, had you soon back in your uh, base of operations here at the Adventuring Guild of Inzlin, um, with the day about you. The city itself is no longer in quite that festive mood. Whatever Trivalities had swarmed it when you arrived from your initial presence seems to have died down. There is still shows being put on, but those appear to be more the daily fare, showmen, bards, and the like, trying to earn a copper or two. Um, Flyers are about as you walk through the city. Already having lost Joe to his own doings, something about needing to resupply himself, um, which I'm sure was not ominous at all in his way of speaking, as well as Union slipping away, uh, tend to his elk and see to his own doings um, upon return. The notable flyers, as they are pasted big town style, where the whoever was paid to put the flyers up literally was like, flyer 1 inch, flyer 1 inch, flyer. across the multitude of already flyer plastered buildings in the quarter leading up the winding road to the block that is the guild hall's keeping grounds. A tournament is being advertised, currently in the stages of recruiting for a multitude of events. They note that anyone over the gold tier, so anyone gold and below, is welcome to apply. But anyone gold and above, or excuse me, above gold, are excluded as, unfortunately, they would quite literally level the playing field. But events such as their competitions of the horse, spear, sword, and mind. Otherwise, the city doesn't seem to have anything else of major going on without hitting up your local contacts, what little they are. Mainly your landlord, who is happy to see you guys, by the way, because you showed up, paid rent, and then vanished.
Oh, yeah.
Which,
That was all kinda quick.
adventurers, he takes it in stride, but upon arrival, the sportly human man, who you guys still haven't asked the name of.
By the way, what's your name, friend?
Classy. Is Theodore Roseman. As it says on your leasing papers.
I give him a look that says, "Do you really think I've had time to read those?"
I would hope so. You signed them.
Fair.
You of all people, the GM's like, did you not read them?
Fair.
But Bella, dear, there is a package for you.
Oh.
It's been here, 2 days now. He now only sees the giant of armor lurking behind you two, not a resident. Hello there. Friend of yours, I really hope?
Nod.
Okay.
Friend is going kind of far. But yeah.
And okay, well, as long as yeah. He leans under the desk and pulls out a parcel wrapped in brown paper and tied off with twine. Excuse me one moment. Ooh, excuse me. There is no return address. The corner with your name in it, has a beautiful flowing script written in Draconic.
I can speak that.
I'm aware.
What does it say for the name? Does it just say Bella?
It is your full name.
Gonna take that and just be like, alright guys, well, if you need me, I'll be in my room. And I'm gonna head off to my room.
Okay.
I am going to go to like a money changer to change out this gem that I got.
Okay. Now,
the diamond.
okay, I was say,
Yeah,
your
I
gem
gave
or
it-
Zealos's gem?
Oh no, I know better. I know better than to try to spend Zealous' money.
That's not his money.
Oh.
He gave it to you.
I give the gem back to Zealous. Since you're in need of re-equipping.
still don't like where it came from.
Don't worry about that. Worry, it came from me.
I gave?
You gave it to me, and I am giving a gift back.
But I gave it to you.
Yes, and you currently have no money or equipment.
That's a good point.
Exactly. So use this to get yourself all re-equipped. I'm gonna kind of do the same. I pull out my broken sword and sigh.
If you're getting a new one, you should make sure you get a bigger one next time.
No, this is the type of sword for me. But I'm thinking of getting one that's a bit more dirty?
Dirty?
Stronger. That's what I was looking for.
I mean, a strong sword's a dirty sword.
Yeah. So go into a money changer. How much gold do I get?
Heading
I
to
believe
the nearest money changer. I gave you a value for the diamond, I believe.
Yes, 1,500.
Okay. Ah! Sorry, guys, I have moth problems. They are attacking.
Oh no.
We will be going to war soon. Takes about 15 minutes to get from the guild hall, assuming you don't want to use the guild's money changer.
Actually, no, we got stopped by the guild to say we completed the quest anyway.
Yes, there are standalone individuals who most of them are more of the banking sort, but would be more than happy to exchange worthwhile gems, typically well cut or uncut. But otherwise, they are more repositories of money that are very heavily guarded.
Yes.
And the guild themselves do provide an exchange service. Zealous, are you going to go with Union?
Ideal, yes.
Yep, thank you. I would say they all look alike, but they are literally different colors.
Don't worry.
Freaking color-coded tieflings that I can't keep track.
But it's my character, and I didn't notice for a second.
I am Union. Miss you, Don.
So I assume I get the 1,500.
No, sir.
Okay.
As there is a fee involved in the handling the exchange. In total, you are offered 1385.
That is perfectly fine with me.
Okay. Now, no attempt to haggle at all.
Not with this.
Okay.
Now I need to do math.
Obviously, they ask you, do you want this in platinum, gold, etc.? Would you like it delivered somewhere? As a note, the guild will deliver, because it is a very heavy bag of gold, they will deliver under guard for a nominal fee of only 5 gold. It gives their runners something to do.
Let's do plats.
Okay. Definitely lightens the load.
And it makes the math so much easier. I could just put 138 platinum as opposed to adding 1385 to 45.
That would have been
1425.
No, that'd be 1430.
Yeah, but I didn't feel like doing that math
Okay. Look, man, I've been at work all day and I was able to crank that out.
I just got home from work.
Yes, they very quickly gather up your funds and deliver them. Um, and all told, the time it took you to be called up for your turn to make your exchange and to finish your business, it took about an hour and a half.
Okay.
So you're still looking at it's not even hit midday yet.
Okay. I am going to look for a blacksmith who works in like enchanted-ish weapons.
How about are you looking?
Asking around, talking to people.
Just
Ask some
random
of the
people or specific?
People in like the guild.
Okay. Like,
They
are you
probably-
utilizing your resources? Or are you just hitting up people on the streets? Is what I need
No,
to know.
I am utilizing my resources.
Okay.
Like, there are all these well-equipped adventurers here.
Most
Gotta get the stuff from...
roll a just a general charisma check for me,
Okay.
guys. I have like this massive cut just across my knee that I just realized. I have no idea where it came from.
Ooh.
Not like this gouge or anything, but like just a long, thin paper cut style cut. And I can't. There's nothing I can think of that I bumped into today that would have caused that cut there.
Could it have been like a fingernail?
It's
Happens
demons.
to me sometimes.
It's demons.
Oh, that makes sense actually.
That's a big 6.
That's a big 6. Okay. It takes quite a while, particularly as you make the faux pas of approaching someone who is definitely a little too important to deal with you. This very uppity. At first, you thought it was a bard, but just a very well-to-do appears to be a member of one of the craftsman guilds. You don't catch the crest as he scoffs and turns away too quickly, wanting nothing to do with you. You don't quite get the Baroqueteer snide look, but the individual that you do finally manage to talk to is, they're not extraordinarily dressed, but they do appear to be very well armed. In fact, as you approach, it is this younger looking dwarf warrior posted up in the corner of the main hall of the guild, oiling down and working on a literal pile of weapons. Very loving care being given, and as you approach, his eyes immediately go to Zealous, who I'm assuming has just been quietly, air quotes, stomping behind you this whole time. It's. I'm sorry, I don't do armor. Oh, sure looks like it's taking a beating. How can I help you?
Well, I was hoping to get a slightly enchanted scimitar.
Slightly. So you want it enchanted or you want it non-enchanted?
Yes, I want it enchanted. I want a +1.
I will say.
Yeah. It's hard to figure out how to say that in world.
A magically enhanced.
There we go. Magically enhanced scimitar.
Well, there's Godfrey's. Godfrey Forge at the first trade hub, North Trade District. I know. Esmeralda there is his enchanter. She does fine work, simple work, but consistent work. Which he pats. There's like 3 little blades, two short swords, and what looks to be like a punching dagger that he taps. Very consistent work. I've been a sponsor and patron of them for about 10 years now.
Ah,
Have never had a problem. But if you're looking, they don't do Godfrey. He's not too good on the more, and he makes the little slashy, finessey sort of weapons. He, simple stock is what they do. Straight blades, straight to the point. But I wouldn't say don't check them out. I haven't seen their stock for 3 or 4 months now, so I never know. He may have finally started to experiment, the old kook. Uh, for the record, please write these down because these are names that are coming off of a list that I don't want to have to dig up later when you get there.
Guthrie,
Godfrey
Godfrey,
and Esmeralda.
Esmeralda, Enchanter.
If you're looking to be a little more sporting with your purchase, he lifts up and balances on his forefinger what looks to be this. It's clearly a silvered weapon, but it doesn't seem to catch the light as you would expect. Almost drinking it in, and he balances it very carefully. Beautifully made weapon. Not heavy on adornments, aside from the pommel has what looks to be some sort of pearlescent stone. This beauty collected from Leothian. He is more of an odds dealer. Deals with a lot of enchantments, magical goods. I see some beautiful things go through his shop. You can find him just before the trade quarter bleeds into the more wealthy district where there's never anything worth buying. Just before you hit Noble's Road, you want to take that third left there, and you'll see it's gonna look like a tiny little shack, but I assure you, looks are deceiving. And with a slow turn of his wrist, the blade rolls over and just palms so beautifully. It's beautifully balanced. I can honestly say, if you're looking for a collector's piece, you realize now he's looking at you as you are fairly gaudily dressed in your bardic garb. So if you're looking for an addition to your show, that would be a great place to look. Or if you're looking for something to help your bludgeoned friend, they are tested and true weapons. Probably the best I could recommend for you.
All right. Thank you very much.
I mean, I've got a few pieces not enchanted if you're just looking to arm up.
I don't know what he's looking for, but I'm looking for a simple enchantment.
Yeah, biggin, what you in the market for? Some of these crafted by my own hand. Be happy for such a mighty warrior to put them to good use, especially with the tournament coming down.
What's your biggest?
Well, I didn't bring any of those in stock, but I've got some beautiful black iron swords. Those from the Dragonborn forgers there in the South District. Beautiful pieces. I'd be willing to part with for a bit of coin. I've got a couple axes in my collection. The biggest that you see here is a little on the longer end longsword. It, at a glance, has some good heft to it. Dangerously sharp edge, and in fact he has it set out where the oils are just got applied to it, so he's letting it rest, and it's a beautiful blade. there is what you vaguely can tell is some kind of runic scrawl work running up the fuller, but nothing that you and your very common uh, spoken word are able to comprehend.
That's a nice way of putting it. Be told I don't know how much the gem was worth, and
1,500, and we got 1385 a pop for them, I would assume.
If you would be able to, if you go in and just upright to the trader, you would be able to get 1385 at this particular exchange.
geez, do we really get paid that much?
Yes. That's why I'm in the market for an enchanted weapon, and not just a weapon.
No, I'll hold off on buying any fancy swords for now. Got something more important. You know, the gaping holes.
Yeah.
Uh, or is that a conversation you're having, or are you just out of character noting that?
No, out of care.
Okay.
So I will go to Godfrey first. Test.
I'm
Okay.
handling things.
Okay, do.
You know, basically just following the ideal around because one, have a tendency to get lost or lose people. And two, since you're hanging around the Smith area, maybe find someone to,
Fix you up.
yeah.
Okay. It takes getting from the guild hall. The dwarf was, for the record, just a little disappointed you didn't give his stock a better once over. It takes about an hour and a half. Just like the guild hall happens to be very well centered. Um, Before you reach the trade district where you can find the humble forge of Godfrey. At this time, going on just about noon, there is smoke rising from the stacks, as is common throughout several of the little individual forges. Um, da, 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 da. Clicking, clicking, clicking. So much clicking. Okay. Inside, you are immediately greeted with very warm welcomes from this otherwise very mousy looking female gnome. Has her hair very tight against her head and rolled up into a bun at the back. Very well kept. Little scribe glasses just dangling on her nose. And while she looks as if she would much prefer being wearing loose robes, she has more practical pants and tunic on. Still has the standard mage's dangling sleeves.
Yeah.
Very well kept, but sorry, the hiccups are kicking up and it's kicking my ass. Blah. Very well kept shop is presented to you. As a, welcome, welcome. Please, come on in. It's so good to see you. First time customers, yes. Welcome.
I believe so.
I am Esmeralda. It'd be my happiest time to be of service to you this beautiful day. Please come in. Oh, oh dear. You have had a spot of trouble, the two of you.
You have no idea. I pull out my broken blade.
She looks heartbroken. Oh, you poor thing.
Yeah, I'm looking to get a replacement, and I was told this place was a good place to find one.
Oh yes. She gestures to the walls. There are a. It's a again very simple stock. Most of them are short swords, long swords, daggers, and various plain stylings.
I could deal with styling. That can be dealt with later.
That's not to say that they're not beautiful weapons. They're definitely not showy weapons. These are functional, crafted items. Over here we have the mundane selection, many of which, if enjoy the balance the balance of the item, um, 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 and she is stammering hard as Hezzy, get in here! Oh dear. I know it's gonna be rude of me to say it, but you are being watched. Please do not attempt to steal anything. I would hate to have to do anything about it, much less call the guards. I will be right back. My sincerest apology. Hezzy! And she
Take your time.
scurries off to the back where you can hear hammering. As the door opens, it is a gout of heat. With as you look down, there's a stairwell that she actually descends, and you soon lose sight of her. But otherwise, are free to peruse the shop at your leisure.
I'm just gonna take a look around, look at some of the short swords.
On the mundane wall or the wall she didn't point at yet.
I will start with the mundane wall.
Okay. Like as previously described, these are objects of war. They are not the lightest. Most of them are fairly well balanced. But these are the sort of blades almost you would be upset if a blacksmith couldn't crank out, or at least one
Yeah.
who owns a shop.
At least a weaponsmith being
But yeah, and for the record, that is all that is here. They do not have any armor up. You do see some armor stands, but they are empty at the moment.
I will mention it'll take a little bit of work to figure out best way to add it into my style. But short sword's not bad. I will kind of talk to myself as I look at them.
Should try the longsword.
I need something a bit lighter.
You would.
X character, not strength. Look, just because you broke my sword does not mean you get stuck crap.
As you're still holding your broken weapon.
I do put it away.
Okay.
After gesturing it slightly in his direction, when I said that just because you broke my weapon.
Just because the weapon wasn't good enough.
It got me until I gave it to you.
What's that say about you?
That it was strong enough for me.
Or you weren't using it right.
Who wasn't using it right? I turn and look up into the big eye, into the Warforged face, knowing this is a bad idea.
Oh yeah, call the Warforged out. It always goes well.
Yeah.
It's only my job to know how to use weapons.
And it is my job to know how. And it's my job to know how to use my weapons.
They're not weapons.
Yes, they are. They're slashing weapons. Not stabby.
Oh yes, you can make them whimper.
Remember it was goblins back in Open that I just completely slaughtered.
Ooh,
It was with this one.
Excuse me. I guess my sincerest apologies. She comes scampering
Not a
up,
problem.
closes the door.
Smiles back on the face.
Just sort of leans against it, just kind of fanning herself. I'm sorry. Did you find something to your liking over there?
I was hoping for maybe a short sword with like a simple enchantment on it.
Ah, yes. She gestures to the other wall. I have 4 short swords available at the moment, all of which are of moderate power, investiture.
And what is said cost?
Do 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 do. There are, as noted, as you gesture to the wall with your passive 12, 4.
Yes.
They are, like the others, very simple looking short swords, except that at the base of the fuller, just before it hits the hilt, they have what looks to be flowing script written in a circular pattern in on themselves. They are described to you very quickly as able to strike a little more true. Their balance has been slightly more enhanced, while the material still has a bit of heft to it. They range from this end to the other, starting at 210 to 400.
May I? I point to the 400 one.
Of course. I'm afraid I don't have a testing stand at the moment.
That's quite alright.
As you lift it, there is a sort of thrum of energy in your palm as it sits a little awkward. It is a new blade. It is not your scimitar, so it doesn't quite have that comfort on the wrist that you're used to. But otherwise, it's a very nice blade. I will note that none of the swords have the exact same scrawl work on them. And she's, while you're giving it the once over, rolling your wrist to see how it feels. She's in the middle of flipping through what appears to be a ledger.
I'll give it a couple quick slices and a stab, and like just in the air. Just see if if I can get kind of the feel of the blade and all that fun stuff. As I realize, good, I am turned with short sword.
I'll still nitpick him on how he's swinging.
I will try my best to block out the Warforge's criticism.
Okay. 1 second, so I can get you the decent descriptor of this item. Okay. The one that you have in your hand there, it was originally a commissioned piece, but the individual unfortunately fell short of their payment and since relinquished it back to us, which is always a shame. But I will note that it is a reduced price because it is technically a used item, um, but it was specifically crafted for the felling of and she does the her arms trying to make the sign for big, and she looks at the Warforged and tries to make it bigger.
So, giant killer.
Yes, he hadn't given it a name. He said he wouldn't until until he had paid it off. So it is not a named blade, but that is the enchanted excuse me purpose. The blade was cooled with giant's blood by Master Godfrey. Elsie! Speak of the devil. No offense. Sorry.
Not a problem.
There is the sound of stomping, and when she had gone down, you didn't hear a single sound on the her footfalls on the stairs, as this very heavy set, beard bound and actually braided around his neck and behind him, so it's out of his way and forging. Um, with a leather cap holding down this what would coming out the back looks like very wiry black hair, big bushy eyebrows, very stereotypical as one might expect. um, he is a little on the short end for a dwarf, but makes up for it width-wise.
Fair.
Hanging from a wrist strap is a beautiful forging hammer. Um, as it is his tool belt holding his girth in at the moment. Oh, I'm so sorry, Ezzy. You could have told me you were dealing with customers. Hello there.
Good evening, sir. Afternoon.
He
Whatever
he blinks like, oh dear, I didn't know I was down there that long, Ezzy. Did I miss meals? You never miss meals.
It's been a long couple days.
Oh, I can understand that. That one don't suit you. As he sees you with the sword in hand.
Told you.
Quiet you.
You need
Which one would you recommend for me?
I mean, it'll get the stabby bits will get where it needs to go, but I don't know. You seem more of a thinker of the sword. If I've seen one,
Yeah.
looks you up and down. finally catches the adventuring brooch on your collar. I mean, no. Here, I thought you were a mere performer. Adventuring, it'll do you well. But I can do you better.
I would be glad to have what you recommend.
I mean, I only make the more flashy weapons to order. But if you want to step down, I've got some blanks. We can, hash through a custom build if you so desire.
That would be fantastic.
As he physically, like, just sighs. Custom build means custom enchantment. Lovely. Not that I'm not happy to do it, just, you know, branding. As you look at all the relatively simple, straightforward swords.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let him go filling your head with... He gets a bit excitable. Excitable! I've got a good head on me shoulders. But I will be taking me lunch downstairs. Thank you. Come on, lad.
I will follow him down.
Well, your friend can come too. Who knows? Might have an inspired build for such a... Oh dear, what happened to your shoulder? Oh, your leg.
It's been a rough couple days.
It really has.
And his eyes under the brows finally like go wide as you speak, and he kind of realizes that that's not a helmet. Oh dear. Please come down. I will note, Mr. Bard, fortunately your passive of 11 perception was enough that both you and Zealous see the Forge Master of Kraut emblem over the door to his forge.
What's that mean?
It's one of the craftsman guilds.
Oh, okay.
If you want to know any more about it, you'd have to roll history.
Don't think history. I'll give it a try. Nope. 9.
Zealous. Dwarves make weapons. They're not exclusively dwarves, but typically dwarves.
Crafters.
They that's where they got their start.
Got ya.
Downstairs, it is excruciatingly hot, but he seems almost entirely having forgotten that he was about to work with you as he reaches this mitt of a hand and for Zealous, please, Sid, you are worse for wear. Haven't seen one of your kind this beat up since the war.
You've seen my kind?
I've seen and marveled at them since I was a kid. Please, he gestures to a fairly sturdy-looking bench. Please have a seat. He turns from you and begins to gather up materials. My father, he taught me everything I know. Said there was nothing ever like a forge built, and hopefully never anything like one again. No offense, but as much as we love our weapons of war and murders, sometimes it takes it a little too far. It's not right what they did to you all. Do you remember it at all? I know memories get a little fuzzy. Have you sat down, or are you still standing?
I'm sat.
He starts setting up materials, metals, bands, leathers, more refined crafting tools, even more refined than the forging hammer hanging from his wrist. Um, and there is a legitimate look of remorse on the dwarf's face. Wipes the brows. I ain't gonna ask how it happened. Just, if you don't mind. And don't think I've forgotten about you. But
Not a problem.
that is,
He needs it.
if you would be so kind, I've got some rapier and some scimitar blanks on the left wall over there. I actually need you to make a con save.
Who, me?
Yeah. It is it is really hot here. Not in the heat getting to you. It's you're breathing in toxins that, while
Fair.
sulfurous is natural to you while you were there, you have been away from home for an unfortunately long time. Not quite native to this anymore.
Do I still get advantage from my infernal constitution?
Yes, I'll say that. Okay, you manage to catch your breath, and you're sort of going from the clean air back to more reminiscent remindings. You still yourself, and as noted, there are the fairly several blanks of various sizes and lengths. I'd probably go with the third one on either set for arm your length, but I mean, if you like it a little longer, who doesn't?
I will.
Get it?
I take his recommendation of the scimitar.
Okay. Dealt with your kind too, quite a bit. Fascinating folk.
You can say that again.
Yeah. He begins melting some metals down and clearing out debris from the wound that you, at this point, were probably unaware was even still present, having gotten accustomed to the pain of just the sheer pain of walking. Starting on what appears to be the more severe injury, the leg.
It was pretty nasty.
But I must say it is a rare treat to have two very unique individuals in my shop.
Well,
From range of enchantments and doings, what flavor are you thinking?
I was thinking something to help strengthen it, make it do a little bit more oomph.
That
Make it.
she has a keen mind and a general application for the like. It's a matter of just how flashy are you wanting to be.
I gesture to my outfits.
That's what I thought. It's been he grins. It's been a while since I've gotten to show off. Many of them have forgotten what old Godfrey's capable of. They just think straight to the point. But I've studied. I've done my edge works, my etchings. Zealous, as he begins to pour the material into your knee, I need a con save. This is more.
You can do it, Zealous.
Is there
No,
anything?
I'm not-
I was say, is there anything behind that you can do it? This is your endurance of the pain, as it is a sudden shock.
I'm not giving inspiration. He's been shit talking me this whole time.
I've been helping. You're just ignoring good advice.
You grin and bear it very well. You do take 4 points of fire damage as he begins to work the repairs in. Now it's gonna. He grabs the heel and sort of pulls it to have you stretch it in full. Go ahead and let it sit like that for a little whiles. The shoulder's gonna need more thinking though. It's been so long since I've had such a challenge. You guys are a treat. But you have a blade in your mind, what would it look like, Mister?
Ideal. I'm sorry,
Well, what would your ideal blade be? That's what I'm asking. I'm sure the blade in your mind is ideal.
My name is also ideal.
Oh.
That's literally my name, sir.
Well, that's conveniently inconvenient.
Trust me, I am fully aware of this.
All right. Well, yeah. When you picture it, what comes to mind? Other than gaudy and flashy and probably slicing off the many heads as the women grovel about you. Or man, I don't judge.
What I would like to do is to be able to be a swirling dervish of death in combat. As I do have another one. I point to my other not broken sword.
Mind if I see it?
Of course, of course. I pull it out and hand it to him. Just a glare over in Zolus' direction.
Is this a plain scimitar or?
Yeah, this is. I do not have any magical weapons.
Okay. So. About 10 minutes or so, as he goes back and forth with Ideal. Zealous, you can start to flex your leg. It feels a little better. It feels a little heavier, but not like it would intrinsically impede you. As you push down, it seems to carry your weight a little better with whatever he had filled it with. Seeing you test it out, he's like, I am sorry that I couldn't give you the proper repairs, but those are fairly lost arts. I don't know of any craftsmen here in the city.
Neither do I.
Craftsmen being the guys you really don't like. Yeah.
The ones we may have broken some shit of.
But if you'd like, I could ask around. No. All right. So, for the moment, your leg is repaired, but we'll see how durable the repairs hold. As you walk over to the table, where your tiefling friend and this dwarf are working, he's actually got himself up on a little standing stool, which is weird. This is his table in his shop, but it's at normal height. He seems actually very comfortable. Whenever he needs to reach over and grab something at the far end of the table, you see he grips with his booted foot one side of the stool and actually leans it over, quickly snatching and then rocking back into place, as if this was nothing out of the ordinary. But he's taken a large scroll of this thin paper-like material and sort of began to etch over the existing scimitar the shape. He seems to have sort of jotted down some numbers, presumably the weight, which ideally you would know that's what it is. But this is like what Zealous is getting at a glance. Do you have any preferred materials in mind?
I'd prefer similar to this, but I will point out my budget's around 1,000 gold.
Ha! I can work miracles at a price like that.
I assumed you would.
Let's see here. Now, if you have a specific enchantment that you would like to apply, you're going to need to talk to Ezzy upstairs. As you hear, he says that you hear the clattering of dining ware. No, he can talk to me right here. Such a mess down here. You were supposed to be taking your lunch, dwarf. Ezzy! Ah, have you guys met Ezzy yet? She's a dear. I'm the one who welcomed them, Godfrey. I do hope he's not filling you with fanciful delusions. Here, I've brought the two of you some tea. Do enjoy.
Thank you very much.
But, so yes, if there's anything specific you would like to attempt.
Well, of course, I would need to know pricing of the enchantments, of course.
On average, for 500, you would be able to get a rare enchantment.
Okay. That's
Unless I'm misremembering my prices. Let me double check here.
You could get a fire sword.
No,
Maybe.
sorry, uncommon. My apologies.
uncommon. Okay.
Wait, that's the old rules. Where's XDG? Hold up.
I'm sure a fire sword will help you so much.
I mean, it'd be cool.
It would definitely be show offy.
If I recall, that was one of the ones specifically I informed of, like, hey, this is... Yep! Flame Tongue is definitely on my list of, but, price.
Yeah. Okay, so with 2 weeks worth of work, we could apply an uncommon enchantment for
Okay.
200 to 300 gold, depending on the demand on my work schedule.
Alright.
As again, the prices in the book are a price of you working on it, so that is the cost they'd be putting in. For those concerned, we are using XGE's Xanathar's Guide to Everything's crafting rules in this, at least in my game of this setting. Looking at other GM of this setting.
I fully the same.
Pricing wise, I think they're the same. XGE, I don't have a price, but
I mean, page.
a page. I'd assume 128, roughly in that area. Excuse me, I'm looking on my little spreadsheet here.
Okay. So I see selling magic items.
It'd be under the
crafting.
crafting.
I found it.
Yeah. So let's take a look here. We are looking for.
Rare is 2,000.
Yeah.
So let's stick with uncommon.
Which is actually not an uncommon. Finesse weapon. That is not, I think, just the weapon +1.
Let me.
Oh, there's a few. You have weapon of warning, weapon +1. Um,
Yeah, +1. Honestly, that's what I was kind of hoping for.
um,
+1.
checking if there's any other specific enchantments available to you.
I'm not seeing any on D&D Beyond. Just searching uncommon.
Oh, that's a dagger, which is not what you're after.
Nope.
Boop, 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 doop, boop, doo, doop, boop, 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 doo, doop. That's a great sword that you're definitely not after.
No. That's what Zealous wants.
That's what Zealous wants you to want.
Yeah, but I don't want that.
So you have weapon +1, weapon of warning are your two base options. Um,
I will take a +1 and ask Esmeralda if she could also. Oh wait, that's 2 weeks, isn't it? 2 weeks per.
it would take me 2 weeks per enchantment of dedicated work, yes. I do employ rush jobs if necessary, but they do come at a grand markup. Ezzy, cut the lad some slack. No.
How much of a markup, my dear madam?
For a simple strengthening enchantment, a rush job, I can manage it at best a week for 500. As I would have to work day and night to manage this. I do believe you would understand.
Of course I do. You know what? You got a deal for a rush job.
Lovely.
I will even offer third. I will give
That's the cost
I
of the
assume-
enchantment, mind you.
Yeah, I assume Scimitar's gonna scimitar.
Scimitar is going to be slightly more expensive of the scimitar.
Okay.
As you turn and he's finished scrolling out what appears to very much be like the flow of wind running across the blade. And he has like already written and scratched off several materials before settling on a a type of ore you're not directly familiar with. Um, Sorry, hiccups. These suck. It's not even hiccups. It's more heartburn hiccups, which is even better.
Oh yeah, those are the greatest.
Um, but when seeing your focus, describes that it would be as close as a uh, metal composite as I can get to match the desert sands. Probably run. Rubs. And it's really weird to see him rub the beard as it's mostly going around his neck. So it's just, I kind of actually managing to rub his chin, which is impressive for a dwarf with such a beard. Say I could do it for about 85 gold, all materials told. If there's anything specific you want, make it quite the masterpiece.
I trust in your skills, sir.
You won't be disappointed. Now it's going to take me about he thinks for a little bit. About a day to get the materials. Probably day and a half of work before I can hand it over to Ezzy for the enchantment. I'll get the blade itself done up so she can get the enchantment started up. So say a week and a few days. Come on back, or feel free to check on in. I'm more than happy when doing such a interesting job to have you along for the ride.
Of course.
As for you, she looks. I'm afraid that is well beyond my skills. I would be happy to attempt it just staring at your shoulder, but I'm afraid of what would happen if I botch. You know. Are you sure you don't want me to find a craftsman?
I don't want to be anywhere near a craftsman.
Oh. Well, if you happen to see any more of your kind, maybe they'll be able to patch you up. But I'm afraid it's beyond my expertise. I would honestly think any mortal forge master would be insane to try.
Thanks for the work you have done.
Yes.
And
Thank you very
and
much.
when you want something to fit those hands of yours and really see your purpose, you come to Godfrey. I'll do you right. It is an honor. But
I'll think it over.
Master Ideal, Master never gave me your name. I'm late for lunch. Your lunch is
Of
right
course.
there. She hasn't left, by the way. She's been sitting there at the table waiting for him to sit down with her.
By the way, down payment, I assume?
Soon as my end's fulfilled.
Okay.
As far once the enchantment starts, you will need to pay that in full. Cover the cost of the materials to gather, as well as put food in her belly. Yes, my belly.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and hand over the 58 platinum and 5 gold. Just get it out of the way.
Okay. He seems flabbergasted that you're walking around with this wealth. But as he very quickly is, oh, I will handle that, thank you. Eat your lunch. Yes, dear. And plops down and starts with dirty, soot-covered hands. Picks up the sandwich. Wash. For a mousy woman, she's really on the verge of snapping.
And with this, I will leave.
Was a pleasure.
Likewise.
In the back, washing his hands. Do y'all plan to head back to the guild hall, to your residence? What's the plan? Or anywhere in between? The Brawlers Guild's not so far from here.
Should I initiate Ideal?
Please no.
Do
Please
it.
no.
Eventually the whole party are just members of the Brawlers Guild.
I want to see Bella at the Brawlers Guild.
We can go back for her.
That would be a slaughter.
It would. Just like it would be a slaughter for me to go into the Brawlers Guild.
Don't do this to me. We're friends.
Sure.
She sold your soul for you. Wait. But you have that on the way. That would be some. This is an area as you're working back to either the residence or the guild hall, Zealous. You've gotten lost in this specific area enough to have that light bulb moment of, wait, that place is just over there. But
The only reason I'm not doing it is because it's specifically fists and not weapons. Because I'd love to show him why he needs bigger weapons.
um, but if I can get a perception check from the two of you on your way back, and again, I need to know where you about to back you wish to head, or if you have more shopping you would like to do.
No, I spent enough money today.
Hmm.
So
Beautiful.
we're very perceptive.
Beautiful. That moment you realize that she's far more perceptive than you,
I never claimed to be perceptive.
which makes sense. 14 versus 11. Um, as you two are passing and about to head out of this particular small trade district, which is mainly forges, weapon crafters, armor smiths, mostly metal workers here, and bend around one of the buildings and more or less end up in more of the woodworking and carpentry sort of area. You both, without any uh, pause to understand what's going on, manage to step back and immediately witness as a one hell of a street fight is broken out between what appears to be um, a group of leather-clad wood elves and a few half elves and humans, and it is just a all-out brawl. Um, the both of you hear shouts of your products are complete shite, and just non-stop back and forth bickering of who's the better bow crafter. Excuse me, Fletcher. The word I'm looking for is Fletcher. It's an actual word, mutt. Um, and it is just this constant back and forth that clearly has at this point just come to full blows. You could hear already a block away the whistles. Guards are on the way. Um, and on either side of it, there are two hunched over, like really old human for one side and really old elf, and both of them are looking like you guys are fucking idiots, wearing the same guard as the groups that are now at each other's throat. Um, they appear to be opposing guilds. Uh, every few seconds, you can hear the humans like, guys, stop, stop. Look, anyone. Uh, the youth today.
I wouldn't stop it.
Oh dear.
Zealous.
What would you do?
Get off.
What will you do?
One thought that came to mind was I'd just punch Ideal just for the spirit of it.
So standing side by side. Go ahead and roll your attack roll. Just what's that? It's like the gorilla and someone standing. Was it with the cartoon Tarzan where he just like thwap?
I was thinking Hulk and Loki where you just went pop.
Yeah, that's about right.
Punch, I duck.
It was your wounded arm, so you were a little slower on the draw than you had planned. But the spirit was there. But assuming you have no intent of interfering or interacting and continuing on your way,
I plan to head home.
okay, straight home.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Zealous, are you planning to head home? Guild? Get lost? What?
I don't actually have a home other than maybe if they allowed free lodging at the guild, like Fighters Guild.
The Fighters Guild, or
I'm not
one of
sure
the
about
Fighters
that
Guilds, or do you
one.
mean the Brawlers Guild?
That one, yes. I'm sorry.
You never thought to ask. The last night you actually spent here, you spent at the Brawlers Guild more because you brawled well into the wee hours of the morning. So technically, but you never actually asked. Um, Ideal. Upon arriving at your facility, uh, Theodore greets you again. He seems a little pale, concerned. He kind of does the uh, subtle. Come here, come here.
I go over to him.
You're I mean, I'm not saying you two. I'm not sure how all that works, but your friend, she left out of here in quite a hurry. She didn't say where she was going, but yes, Miss Bellatrix.
Brow furrows.
She left out here like a ghost was chasing her. I mean, I'm fairly sure we're not haunted, but
Huh. I.
I'm more worried if maybe you could check her room, make sure it's not haunted. He seems serious, by the way. Like,
I put my hand on the shoulder. I promise you that her room is not haunted.
okay.
Do I need to make a persuasion roll? What?
No, he seems fairly easy to persuade in this regard. He's nervous. Like,
Okay.
yeah, she ran out of here like a ghost was on her tail. She didn't say where she was going. I hope everything's all right. I mean, I'm not a big fan of losing tenants.
I will sit back and I will kind of nod and like, well, all right. Rub my chin. Try to think of where she would go. Then I'll remember that we got kicked out of a mage college. Hey, Ellis, wanna go to school?
School.
Yep. By the way, how long ago did she leave?
A little after the noon hour. The bells had rung. At this point, it's going on mid-afternoon, about 3:30, somewhere in that range.
Alright. Actually, you know what? Zealous, why don't we wait till evening? And if she's still not back, maybe go look around for her? Or back in the morning or whatever?
Okay.
You can hang out in my room.
I look at the tenant master.
Oh, I mean, guests are welcome. If you're staying overnight, just don't make a mess. If it becomes a habit, a fee will be involved. Master Ideal, keep that in mind.
Of course. Of course, of course.
But will you be taking food in your room? Haven't started supper yet.
Sure.
Okay. We have today we have mint lamb and some stewed chicken with some vegetables.
I'll take the chicken.
Ah. All right. It'll be right up. Just about the the sixth evening hour.
Alrighty. Thank you very much, sir.
Goes back to his work at his desk.
I will head up to the room.
And I will follow.
Okay. We pan the camera to dramatic backstory reveal.
Dun, dun, dun.
Bella, it is just about one before you make it to the guild, but just a little after having gathered up various items. Inside, it is fairly busy. Most of what you see are a scattering of groups in conversation. A few solo individuals, kind of really trying to present themselves like, "Hey guys, I'm for hire." Uh, you have an individual in black leathers who's very aggressively approaching, like, "Hey, you need to get somewhere you shouldn't. I'm your man. Hey, you, hey, no, oh, okay, I'll
Straight up walking past.
Alright, devil blood.
I'm gonna glare, but just keep walking.
The old woman glares in the back of your head too.
Oh my god. I don't want to hear what she's glaring about.
Well, it was directed at the
I know.
leather-clad individual, just like, "Urgh."
We're not on friendly terms right now.
Oh, don't you know it? There are a few individuals of both divine and arcane casting garb scattered about. Who are you approaching? What's your goal here?
Someone who looks arcanely knowledge to find magic use.
Okay. Just glancing about, you can see there are a handful of middle tier, most low tier practitioners here. The most notable of which is, God damn, these kicking my butt. There is a gold ranked individual with their emblem sitting out upon their breast, wearing what looks to be more traveling gear, but flipping through what is very recognizable as a spell book. Very neatly shaven to a small goatee, and a nice little, not satirical, but a very well kept mustache. Completely bald. Um, with what appears to be elven scroll work, only recognizable by the flowing patterns, illegible to you. Um, but they do seem to be some kind of rune work. Zealous, I just need to know if you're intending to do that openly in front of Ideal, or trying to keep it to yourself, as sneaky as I'm sure you can be. But as you have your attention on him, you see his mouth move, and then you hear a voice beside you saying, "Go ahead then, sit down."
I'm gonna sit down.
Doesn't look up from his book. Normally I charge a fee, but you seem to be quite the distressed souls.
I'm willing to pay.
We'll
I just
see.
need answers.
Wonderful. As he looks up the irises, as you realize this is a human, but the irises appear to have this gold flecking, flakes about it that forms almost a pattern. And he doesn't seem to be looking at you, but more through. But what is the other one willing to pay?
Honestly, probably nothing. And I don't care what she's willing to pay. I'll cover for both the costs. He said, I just need answers, to be honest, sir. I'm going to put my stuff on the table. Okay, well, she says she'll pay to get out of my head.
Is that how she worded it?
Yeah,
He
pretty much.
gives a sort of cocked half smile. I am Diviner Agthrin. A pleasure, Miss Bella, to make your acquaintance.
Likewise. So,
Just what questions are you looking to have answered?
what are these? And what was she trying to do? Because she's definitely not going to answer me straight.
Well, I can tell you this is empty. Glass, recently used. The other is a broken mirror.
Is there no magic to the mirror?
He places his hand on his book, and his eyes begin to flutter open, just half lidded. He doesn't answer for quite some time, but you recognize this as a ritual being cast. And as the 10 minutes passes, he turns his head very quickly away from the presumed glare that bombards him before turning it back. There are faint traces, yes, but unfortunately, whatever enchantment was on it broke.
I assume with the glass. Wonderful. I don't know if you would happen to know any way to get someone who is in my head out of my head. Shut up.
His smile goes from half cocked to full.
I don't need this right now, okay?
Care, easy. She's being more
So-
forthcoming than you think.
I don't like the implications of that.
I'm afraid that is not my specialty.
Do you know anyone I can go to solve this?
I mean, I know a man who performs strange operations on parts of the brain, but beyond that, this particular voice in the head I don't think would stymie as a result. She yells, "You damn right!" I figured that one was worth sharing to everyone.
Shut up! Okay, well,
What I can tell you, he taps the vial. Looking about, he leans forward. She was technically attempting an exorcism.
good. Sounds good.
Well, I mean, at least she's forthright in wanting to be free of you. Now, the question is are you willing to be free of her?
I would prefer that, yeah.
Okay. But where would you end up? I wonder.
Right here? Oh,
His smile fades.
Oh, I think I get it.
What do you
Well,
remember of your youth? Kind of fuzzy, isn't it?
I remember basically nothing. Just one, like my earliest memories, maybe a day before I got magic.
He, with a bit of showmanship, rolls his hand over the middle of the table, and where there was nothing, cliche as he is, a crystal ball rises up. There, as you see, empty. It begins to spin. Empty because someone wasn't there. And then it begins to fill with your first memory. Already full grown, with a voice in your head.
Hmm.
I would be careful what deals you make. But she is right. A little rude, but right. You need guidance. You're not ready yet.
Ready for what?
Your purpose, whatever that may be. I'm a diviner. I can only see the threads so far, though, even as potent as I am.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Talking to you has not made me feel better.
Well, I didn't say I was a caretaker.
I am aware.
But yours is an interesting thread. Do you have a mentor here at the guild yet?
No, maybe I don't know. I don't think so. No.
You see his lips move. You would know. You would know without a doubt that no, you have not gained a mentor.
Oh, then
Um,
no.
and very soon after, an individual in guild worker attire appears with some paperwork. Miss Bella, you have piqued my interest, and I'd be more than happy to guide you as you spin your thread. If you agree to take me on as your mentor, I will do my best to see your power blossom as befitting. And he gestures to the paperwork.
Before I sign, I do have to ask. Are you on my side or her side?
Mine.
That's a really good answer. I'll go ahead and sign.
Do you read it?
Yes.
Okay, it is very standard. It is legitimate guild paperwork. Um, so just do you read it? Was everyone in the universe like you're making a lot of deals lately? Maybe confirm this is what it says it is.
If may I guide you to chat?
But wonderful. While you are not on mission, you will be attending studies as befitting one of your purpose and intellect. I will see that you do not waste yourself and your potential. In that regard, I am on your side.
Thank you.
Now, do you understand that the voice, this woman, the attendant has looks between the two of you and is like, I want nothing to do with this. Paperwork signed, throw some dust on it, and walks the fuck away. Adventurers be weird, yo. I cannot deign to say that I am not on her side, as much as you may not think it, you and she have aligning interests. So, when you are not out about with your party, an interesting cast I see, though there is a odd void there.
Avoid?
Don't two of you have that necklace?
Oliver had the other one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
I don't know why Oliver had it, but I think the reason I have it has become blindingly obvious.
Yes. That void does seem a little close to you, which is fine. But your free time no longer exists, Miss Bella. As painful as I'm sure that sounds, you will be attending studies.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
The cockiest smile he has given you yet spreads across. And you kind of feel a matching one in the back of your head as you realize this is probably not something you are intellectually ready to pursue.
Oh. Oh no.
Yes. It's like the source of your power has shifted to another stat.
Heck.
But with luck, we will see quite a beautiful weaving born of this agreement. Tomorrow morning will be your first lesson. I expect you at the Lithon's Library, 3rd District, 4 a.m., Miss Bella. Do not
4 a.m.
be late.
Oh, that's really early though.
He's an Alpha 80.
What? No, he's human.
He's human.
Oh, because I was gonna say, 4 a.m. makes sense for like an elf with the trance.
Nope, he's human.
Okay. I guess I'll go sleep then.
I would advise a proper dinner. Nutrition is important. Oh, and I wouldn't worry about those. He gestures as this is as you're like standing there, like, I guess I'll be going. Just to your pocket where you have the other object from the parcel. They will actually serve you quite well now that the trap was already sprung.
So it was a trap. I knew it.
You can feel eyes roll in the back of your head. It's a familiar feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. it is.
Was the arrow like, of course it was a trappy
Like,
dummy?
no kid, really?
I'd already fallen for the trap.
Fate has been kind to you, Miss Bella. Hopefully it will continue to do so. And please avoid spikes in the future.
Spikes sometimes hide the coolest things, though.
There's not an amused look on his face. On your way, then.
Alright.
And he goes back to his book. The crystal ball just fading away.
I'll go back to my house.
Okay. You get there. Theodore's like just in the middle. You get there. You realize your conversation took a lot longer than it felt like. It's going on the evening already. Lady Bella. So good. Is everything okay?
It's better than it could have been.
Is Is everything all right?
Everything's fine.
Okay. Taking a meal in your room. Your your friend, Master Ideal, he's already gone up with the large armored fella. Um, didn't leave message for you or anything, but I figured you'd like to know.
He has a large armored friend now?
Blinks. You were
I assume there's another arm roll in the back of the head.
the one that came in with you this morning. Yes.
I don't remember this. Anyway, I'll be to my room.
Blink, blink,
Have a good one.
blink, blink, blink. Do you want to, as you already made your way up, guess I'll bring the chicken.
Please do.
Yeah. Hope your large armor friend doesn't catch that lie. That's the last thing you hear as you walk upstairs.
It wasn't a very good lie.
no, it wasn't.
How was it?
But a few moments later, ideally you are the first. There's a on your door.
I will go and answer it.
Are you still flipping through the ledger that makes no sense to you, Zealous?
If I look at it long enough, it'll eventually make sense.
Yeah. I did bring a bowl for your friend. I assumed they were hungry. Because you didn't catch Miss Bella's back. She's acting a little funny, but she seems a little less odd, so that's good. And he's in the middle, like balancing a tray with 3 bowls. I thought, I mean, I'm not trying to mingle. He gives a wry smile, but maybe you should be the one to bring her meal.
You know what? That sounds like a good plan.
Just give her the old smile. I'm sure that will work
Yes.
great. Gives you a little elbow. Hello there. Waves to Zealous. If you need anything, I've got a few more food runs. I'll be down in the lobby. Skitters off.
I will take Bella's bowl to her room. Knock a knock a knock.
Slowly open it.
Hi, I brought you your food.
I like food. Food is nice.
Yes, yes it is.
Do you open the door wide enough to get the food?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So, Teddy down there said, you left in a bit of a hurry.
So the old lady tried to exercise me.
Blank. Blank, blank, blank.
And now I have a teacher.
Okay.
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
And I have to go to school tomorrow.
I give her the look that says, I know your sorrow.
The flashback of
not just schooling, hell schooling.
yeah, just rather than rather than a wooden switch, no, a cat of nines snapping at you for having the wrong form.
I figured no, it was a fire whip.
Nah, that was one you get to your teens.
Ah, okay.
Oh, and on top of everything, I have a teacher who may or may not be on her side in the end, who may or may not try and get rid of me. Because I don't have any memories before I was 7, and I didn't realize that until today. It's been a long day.
You have this conversation at the door. One of the other tenants walks by, just like, what the fuck? Just keeps on walking.
Like, you better keep walking.
Get a room!
We have two!
Oh, well. I'm your neighbor. Introductions later. Bye.
Yes, go.
So yeah, that's been my day. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, I have to go research.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it is.
If you go ahead.
Oh, so how was your time?
Me and Ideal. I've been zealous. Wow, my brain tonight.
Excuse me. If you would be
Yeah.
so kind to get out of the hall, y'all two are rather loud.
Just gonna drag him in.
Okay. So, me and Zealous went to a black chain star. Gems for some gold.
That's good. I should probably do that too.
Yeah. The ones at the guild treated me fine. I ordered a sword.
Swords are nice.
I looked down.
There is
I mean,
shattered pieces of glass all over the floor.
It's been a really long day.
yeah. Mind if I tidy this up a little bit?
Feel free. I'm not going to.
I pressed D.
The glass tucks into a nice, neat little pile in the corner.
Good enough for me. Zealous found somebody who did some decent-ish repairs on him.
That's good. He was having trouble walking.
Yeah, hopefully this fixes that. We saw a street fight between a couple of guilds. Luckily, we did not join in.
Well, that'd be a dumb thing to do.
Yes, but Zealous likes to punch things.
That's fair. Hey, so I just want to say, if I'm ever not me, feel free to not think I'm me.
Okay.
And feel free to do whatever you think you should.
I always will.
Thank you.
Give her a hug.
I'm a little worried, not gonna lie.
You'll be fine.
Shut up! Not you.
I assumed as such.
There is a mental recoiling at the embrace.
Straight up ignoring. I want nothing to do with her right now. I'm ignoring everything she says.
No, trying to.
Doing my best.
Meanwhile, Zealous is just... Why are there so many numbers?
Well, since you need to be up gods early, I will let you eat and get some rest. Sounds like you need it.
I need to sleep.
Yes,
I need a lot of things.
we all do. And if you ever need to talk, you know where my room's at.
Yep. I at least have one person I can trust.
Exactly. Ideal stairs.
One set of parentheses away from being canon.
Yep.
Yeah, have a good night. I
You
have
too.
no free time anymore. So let's get lots of missions. Lots and lots of them.
Well, my sword's gonna be ready in about a week, so
Oh. Okay,
okay,
everything's fine.
you'll be fine.
Fine.
Look at it this way. Maybe you'll learn something to help take care of your issue.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just kind of worried that if I do shut up. If I do something to get rid of her, it'd get rid of me.
Yeah, and I don't want
think that's
that.
a good thing. Yeah.
No.
You can't show me an issue. God. Not you. Sorry.
I know. Hoo boy.
So tempting.
Hoo boy.
I am sure I would regret it, but on the other hand, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you don't know what your neighbors could be doing.
I was thinking about the shut up. I just want to know what she's saying. But at this point, I will let Bella go and get a rest.
Okay.
I'm gonna eat and go to sleep.
Okay. Oddly enough, she actually gets very quiet once you are ready to slumber, seeming very eager for the morning.
Hmm. Her being happy is never a good thing.
I mean, she has been relatively happy, a bit sassy lately. Um, you return zealous at this point. There's just nothing you can glean from this binder.
Hadn't I already taken a look at it and got like it was
The
like
last you looked at
ledger?
it is a trade ledger. The comings and goings of stuff and things. But um, you didn't invest heavily in putting knowledge to it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna worry about it tonight, unless I invest for help.
No, just something to focus on.
Okay.
It's evening now, right?
It is evening now.
So, basically about the time people would be heading to their houses and all that.
A city this size is pretty much always active, but it is definitely less so at these hours.
Okay, I don't really got much in mind. I was, I guess, just kind of asking.
Okay.
Could try and find some smiths, I guess.
Most of the crafts district, as far as the actual crafters, have closed. There is a fairly active guard presence, but other than a few late shops in the middle of closing up, most of the smokestacks have faded. You do manage to find one that is still burning the midnight oil. The doors are barred from inside, though.
It's also been a while since I heard how you go up the ranks of the Brawlers Guild. I think it was basically just the tournament thing.
Lots of fights. Yeah. Fights, fights, and more fights.
I can do fights.
So do you plan to head to the Brawlers Guild?
Still not sure if I want to grab Ideal or not. I mean, it's fun to just drag tieflings around.
Please don't.
I mean, you did duck out of the way of that punch.
I did. That doesn't mean I want to fight.
You and your nice ones.
I need to know if you're doing anything so we can keep momentum.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Ideal, do you allow him to stay overnight?
Yeah.
Okay. Bella is BRB, so we will keep up with you two for now. Morning comes as it is meant to do. Plans for the day? What was that?
The sun hasn't been kidnapped yet.
No, not yet. That's an epic arc.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of go to the school of the singing sword, see what that's all about. Since that kind of fits right in with me just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, little twirling man.
Yep.
Is Zealous, are you continuing your train of just follow the first tiefling you see in the day?
Either that or get lost in town.
Well, I need to know. Are you getting lost in town, or are you following the tiefling?
Does Ideal still seem like nervous? I mean, I know he's always paranoid.
I'm probably at the same level of nervousness.
Let's say. It's hard to say as far as your passive awareness. He does seem to be a little guarded, but no more than usual. They're assuming you're following him about. There is a brief heightened moment where you spot a darker, not quite full black tiefling, but it's a woman. She walks by with no qualms. Doesn't seem to even notice the hard stare Ideal gives her. The School of the Singing Sword is actually maintained outside of city bounds. It takes 3 hours to get to.
Okay.
On foot, of course. You haven't heard from Union, but this quest continues.
Yep.
What you have heard of the school thus far is that it is for bards and fighters more of your style. It's more of a duelist sword school. And as you approach, it is a beautiful manse, Victorian style. Welcome back, Bella. It is gorgeous. Out on the lawn are probably a little newer to you considering where you learned your craft, but
yeah,
definitely more pleasant. There are small sections of the yard scattered throughout that have been flattened with diligent pursuit, And even here at the early hours, if you had left at normal rising of 7:30, so it'd be about 10:30 we get in here. There are already very heavy drills being run. But further out from the house, you you are more of the basics. Some larger classes, where the individuals appear to be instructing, do note the passing of you two, but do not seem to stop you in any fashion or even make moves to greet you. Um, well, as they work through stances with novice duelists. Um, as you get closer and closer to the school, uh, there is a sudden loud and resounding boom that causes one of the novice groups behind you to have a brief panic. But you would be familiar with someone has just used booming blade.
Oh.
Um, there is some shouting, some cussing behind you, and you hear a familiar crack. There's no flame bite to it, but it is definitely a very familiar sound to you as someone is getting punished for breaking form. Um, as you get closer and closer, there are other sounds, audible clashings of magic. You actually run into a duel that is being held between someone whose blade is made completely of this dark, flowing shadow, and another whose is just solid flame. And they seem to be putting on more of a demonstration. It does appear at a glance very choreographed. For on the far side, away from the walking path that you two are making your way up, some very well-to-do individuals, highly dressed. One of the men wearing the current fashion of the season. Um, his darling sitting with her arm wrapped around his, her little hat and flowing dress, takes note of both yourself, but her eyes, of course, draw to the ever more interesting giant walking man of metal. Um, really,
I'm used to being the center of attention, but then there's Zealous.
yeah, like you really need to work Zealous into just like the best wingman act, because he definitely is drawing the eye. He's just big and shiny. Just like,
Yeah.
huh, you're purple. He's so shiny. Um, as far as races, you actually do spot quite a few tieflings. You'd assume most of them are material plane born, as they are fairly young. So probably not of potence to escape the pits of hell themselves.
Yeah, fair.
Um, it is you're about three of these manicured yards away from the actual mansion itself. At this point, is looming over you. At a glance, looks to be about 4 stories, and nearing in size to the city block that the guild hall and its properties take up. It's just this long, stretching school building, and you only now can see that there are smaller buildings off behind it. Um, it is only now that Zealous, as unfortunately you are not as perceptive, manages to note that someone is walking with you.
Like, what kind of width?
Like, as if they've been walking. No, like, they just have at some point fallen in beside you, and you are only just now noticing. And you're only noticing, you realize, because they let you. They give a little. little cough. Do you have an appointment? And that's
No.
when you realize, that there's someone there.
You know what? I'm just gonna play it off because that's what I do.
Give me that performance check. Okay.
There we go.
He buys it. Um, it is not as garish. He doesn't have the long, flowing, loose clothing, but he definitely is in duelist leathers. Very well embroidered. This is functional beauty, and has on one hip a what appears to be a parrying dagger, and on the other a quite enviable rapier. You can't tell the material of the blade itself, but that hilt is beautiful. There are gems set in that just barely catch the light, and when they do, it is a dazzling array of reflections. Do you have an appointment?
No. I was hoping to talk to somebody about entering the school as an adventurer. Somewhere where I can help increase my abilities and such.
Glances at your mark of rank. This way, please. And begins to lead you away towards one of the side buildings.
Follow.
And this one?
He is a member of my party.
Let's see.
But
Believe it or not, even someone so large, I can get quite the beast out of you.
He already is.
You do cross, and again, he at this point, assuming you're following him directly, you don't get past the fields that you were about to reach, and it walks you around, and you realize at no point in time do you get a good line of sight on any of them. You are immediately cut off by the privacy hedges. Very neatly trimmed, very organized.
Probably on purpose.
Yes, and it's on the other side of one of them. You hear another loud crack of thunder. Tell me, how many seasons do you have under your belt with that blade? The one that's not broken.
I did not think that far ahead.
I would technically train with these your whole life, yeah?
Yeah.
Were they the same swords soon as you were through your base schooling?
Yeah.
So, lifelong.
These were the ones. Yeah. We're gonna turn you into a dex fighter if you like it or not, Zealous.
Oh god.
Dex?
Yeah, dexterity-based fighter with that giant gaping hole in his shoulder.
He has another shoulder that works.
That is true. It would work off of one hand, but
I mean, he got his life fixed.
Kind of what?
Uh,
I didn't catch
no, he didn't ask the
He got
question.
your leg
He was jesting at you. But yes, we were joking at the Zealous being the one to be surprise initiated. Zealous just ends up somehow in every guild.
Somehow even joins like the Wizards Guild.
Yeah, does not know at all how to cook a pie, but is in the Pie Crafters Guild. But once inside, you are. This is more of an office building. He immediately leads you through the winding desks and what have you of individuals jotting down notes. If only one actually looks up, kind of squints at the two of you, clearly gives a quick judgment and goes back to their work. Through here, please, and gestures to a very simple door.
I will go to the door.
If you do not mind, sir, he pauses because he's not sure what to call you. You can tell he's aware you are not a suit of armor, but he's not sure what you are. Still relatively new to him. If you do not mind, and gestures to a bench beside the door. Would you like something to drink while you wait? This is just to tell us. We'll get to what's on the other side of the door here shortly.
Yeah, I figured.
No, I'm good.
If you need anything, Delilah at the desk here will be happy to get it for you. Won't you, Delilah? Of course. And he walks through the door after Ideal, closing it behind him. Ideal inside is a step down onto a long, very obvious purposed dueling platform. It is 15 by 5.
15 long, 5 wide.
Yep, it is very obvious that that's not a lot of wiggle room, and even for dueling, it's you're familiar with being slightly more room to work with, at least going back and forth.
Yeah.
Sitting at the far end, with a wooden sword beside them, is a child.
Oh no.
And you do note that there is a door behind the child.
Okay.
To your right, there is a rack of weapons, all wooden. Choose as you will. And if having your blade on your hip bothers you, feel free to set it upon the rack for now.
I will set both my broken blade and my normal blade on the rack and try to find a couple of
He looks
wooden...
disgusted at the broken blade.
He is not the only one.
A bladesman should never carry such tarnished equipment.
Sentimental. Battle-hardened by someone other than me.
When you say sentimental, the look of disgust doesn't leave, it is now redirected.
And
There's
I assume
there's
wooden scimitars.
rapier, scimitars, and short swords. There is even daggers of various styles, but all daggers nonetheless.
I'll grab a couple of scimitars.
A brace of scimitars, okay?
Yeah.
As soon as you grab your weapons, the kid is up on his feet. For him, fairly long, what appears to be a short sword, and a dagger held laid down.
Alright.
Stepping to the middle of the raised section, he nods to you to take your place. The man who has been escorting you thus far. Let us begin with thanks that our able bodies are able to present themselves at our finest as we hone our craft and seek ever the song of battle. Raise arms. You see the kid said the prayer with him. So I hope you wrote it down.
Sure I did.
You didn't. That's okay.
No, I didn't.
It'll come in your initiation packet.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably why they don't allow other people they're zealous.
This is even then. The room is, compared to the beautiful building that it is placed in. It is incredibly simple. There is, other than your weapons and the weapon on his hip, there is nothing shiny. You can't hear anything through the door on either end. It is just this room. And then he yells, Leon, I need you to roll initiative against a child.
Yes.
As that happens, we pan to a slight roll back in time to 4 in the morning. Bella, there is a screaming, cackling voice in your head saying, Wake up, child, you're late.
I'm trying and failing to ignore it.
It's not her voice.
Oh,
And it is
better.
even better, it is not happy. Like, she gets upset with you. This is angry.
I'll wake up.
30
Going-
minutes.
So
And that-
go into the library.
I need a athletics check from you, because to make it there in 30 minutes, it's going to need some impressive running skills. Okay. You scramble yourself. As you come running down the stairs, you give poor Theodore a startle as he's in the middle of prepping breakfast. Miss Bella, and you're out the door.
How do you say have a good day to him real quick?
It's lost in the wind.
Ah,
Adventurers. Um, every now and then, there is her voice. Kind of, it's a little more polite than it had been probably for the last month or so. Basically, since you started adventuring with this lot. Like no, it's the next left, dear. Don't be late. Come on, you can do this. She's actually very encouraging, which she had been in the past. Look, I know we're not on good terms right now, but understand I am only trying to do what is best for both of us. So
I
if
don't
you would
believe
move the lead out of our collective ass.
I'm trying my best, okay?
You get to the door, you are a panting, sweaty mess, and that's when you hear the town crier ring the bell 4 times. 4 in the morn, all is well. Oh, good. You've made it.
Made it.
And it's not the voice in your head. Your mentor is standing there at the library. It dawns on you, he just played you and woke you up early.
Mm,
I mean,
well, it could be worse.
Oh, we'll get to worse.
Don't say that.
When you've got a diviner for a teacher. You should borrow Ideal's necklace. It'll be great. He don't need it.
no, Ideal wants it. Ideal needs it.
But he brings you inside. There is no one in this library, and just stepping inside, you can hear the clack of your boots. His footfalls are much softer, and you realize he's actually barefoot.
Weird.
Um, it's only weird until he stops you and gestures to a little nook. If you'd be so kind, you are quite loud. You see a place to actually place your walking implements.
I'll take my shoes off and put them in the right place.
Okay. Thank you. So, I assume that you have at least some passing knowledge of the various schools of magic. Yes?
Um,
Let's try a rundown. At least give me your best guess. And I assure you I've already seen the results, so don't panic. Evocation is
the kind that shoots fire.
wonderful. Abjuration. And this whole time he's walking you. It's a very well stocked library. Scrolls, books. It smells like nerd in here. It's great.
I'm not sure.
Honesty is important. Transmutation.
Turns things to other things?
Bravo. Not just things, though. Do keep that in mind. Divination. It gives you a Rygram like, you better not get this wrong.
Stuff like reading minds.
Among other things. Yes. Necromancy.
Turning things that are dead to not as dead.
A latent way to think of it, yes. And conjuration.
Creating things.
And this is when your DM's like, I did cover all the schools, right? Defecation.
I think
Da,
so.
da, 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 da.
Transmutation.
Nope, that's
You did that one already.
Oh.
Yeah, I think the only one you missed was abjuration.
No, she didn't have an answer for abjuration.
Yeah, I said that was the only one she missed.
Oh. Okay, directed at her.
I think
I'm
you
like,
got 'em all.
Okay. Remember, guys, your DM
Enchantment.
is human. Ah, yes. Enchantment.
Giving things strength through magic and stuff. Enchanting things.
Oh, and, illusion. You would think the guy who plays enchanters and illusionists would not miss those two schools. Guys, it's been a long day. Your DM is only human.
That's okay. A guy who plays mainly casters forgot those two, but
But, so enchantment, not entirely accurate. Abjuration would be quite capable of strengthening someone, for example. Enchantment also can be placed, and it's been crudely twisted to mean enchanting items. But, bewildering the mind, for example. An illusion would do what, dear?
Create illusions.
When defining something, we do not use the word within the definition. Try again.
Using magic to make something appear to be something else.
Passable. Well, unfortunately, it does appear that your power flows through something else. So it is understandable that you don't have the appropriate schooling. We will rectify that. And he proceeds for the next several hours before you're even allowed any food, or even hinted that there will be food. Rectifying by going over the very basics of magic. I need an int save. Yes, save. It is noted. For the record, the entire time of study, your the writer in the walls, not a word from her.
That's good at least.
Like, you know she's there, she's paying attention.
To be honest, I don't think it was made for the learning side of magic.
Are you saying that in character?
Yes.
I'm well aware of what you were, well, made for might be a rude word for it. Utilized, guided towards. Child. But we will be able to do a better dive into the mysteries that it surrounds you, and to that which will empower you, if you at least have some fundamentals. You cannot rely on raw talent alone for eternity. There is an approving agreement sort of feel in the back of your head. Like, yeah, he's right.
Shut up. Not you. I'm sorry.
He didn't even react.
Good. Fair enough.
Now, when food is presented, it is actually the time that the library opens. About
Oh, good.
7 in the morning. So 3 hours of being awake without any breakfast, no coffee, nothing. No, not a drop of water are you allowed. while you are run through general basics of each school and given the best examples that he can. He does not have a basic spell of each school, but he draws up tome after tome. It is miserable. But the library soon fills with soft muttering of similar schooling going on before he steps away and talks with a short little gnome who runs off and comes back and begins to continue the instruction for about 30-40 minutes before a large tray is brought in, part of the table cleared. It is a veritable breakfast feast that is revealed on top of this.
Oh,
Do not scoff and show your manners. And before you say you always show your manners, do not forget your manners. You can tell she is trying so hard not to laugh. He divined it.
I know.
Now which he is speaking. Da 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 da. No viewers, I am not a diviner. Everyone knows I'm clearly a necromancer.
I will do my best to show my man.
Okay. It is a very filling meal. Probably before your previous accruement of wealth would be above the standards of the living you're used to. This is very fine food. Um, Wonderful cuts of bacon. Um, Very tender beef. Delicate pastries that are clearly crafted with precise skill. This is very much rich people breakfast. Um, Throughout of which it is actually hard for you to maintain your manners due to he is still lecturing.
Oh,
Uh-huh. The schooling does not stop.
oh,
Now, his lecturing is, it's not aggressive. It's practical. Every time you seem to be lost, he stops, explains, and every time if you continue to be confused, he breaks it down even further, and then even further. So you find yourself getting, unfortunately, stuck on information very often with him. Um, but it is not until midday that you are officially released. You do have a similar lunch, but tomorrow, assuming you have not left on mission, 4 a.m. There will be no wake-up call this time.
I'm pretty sure I'm here all week, unfortunately.
We'll see. We try not to spoil things, after all.
I can't. Okay. A teacher that can see the future. This isn't fair.
Is that in character?
Yeah.
He for the first time laughs. It's not a heavy or long chuckle. It's just a soft little. Oh, if only you knew. After all, he had to learn his magic from somebody.
That's true.
Oh, and do watch out for the card.
I'm gonna be extremely on the lookout for a card, but I don't know if he's just messing with me.
He doesn't let you know. Um, about halfway back to your residence, I do need you to make a dexterity save with advantage, as you were warned. You were almost run over by a horse-drawn cart.
Okay.
And before anyone asks, no, Joe was not driving it. Yes, I did actually roll to see if Joe was driving it. It would be about 3 in the afternoon when you actually make it back to your residence. So if there's anything you want to do in the evening,
Sounds like nap time. I was up at 4. I want a nap.
okay. You try to nap, and she starts kind of going over. That was a pretty good lesson, and just little nitpicky things for the next hour.
Just pillow over the head, trying to sleep.
Roll back again in time, so slightly forward but slightly back. Yeah, totally not getting weird. Timey-wimey stuff. You unfortunately do not go first, Ideal.
God damn.
This kid is, well, to be fair, was very much ready. And as you have that first moral pause as a child is lunging at you with a weapon, as it connects first to the rib right under your breast with the short sword. It's a very soft blow, and it distracts you as the kid
For the
ducks under you, and you can tell he stopped it going any higher, but hits your right thigh just a little south and very precise. You take 9 points of piercing damage,
Okay.
and I need a Constitution save as your leg starts to go numb. Okay. Fortunately, as you pull your leg back, lessen, give you give it a quick little. Okay, it's still attached. Zealous, there's not a sound through that door. You didn't hear the loud cry of Leon, which you should have. The only noise you hear is every now and then Delilah looking up at you and just sighing. But you're almost intrinsically aware now. Ideally, you're dealing with a prodigy. This kid is good.
Yeah.
But it's your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna go in with 2 scimitar strikes.
Okay. Do you want to know the result of each hit, or you want to hit and hit? You did call for both.
I want to resolve the first one first.
Okay. Your eyes catch that the child doesn't look at you as the blow is coming. It flicks over to the instructor, who in that instant gives the nod, and your blow hits something and glances off. And the kid does let out a audible sigh. But your other blade was, as stated, already in motion.
Yep. And that's a miss.
He actually just backs up and, with a hard tilt to his right, lets the blade run up his arm and go past him. You feel his hand actually push your blade towards you. As he do you have anything else you would like to do? You have now missed.
Yes. done my action, my bonus action, so I'm done.
Okay.
Because there's not a lot of movement room here.
Yeah, he got on you very quickly, after all.
Yeah.
With the dagger the hand that pushed away your weapon, he continues the momentum as he pulls his wrist down, and the dagger slices across the back of your wrist. If this was an actual blade, there would be an actual cut. But you have that audible that physical sudden realization of, oh, that would have been bad.
Yeah.
As you feel the wood grain run across. But he follows it up with an so he's run run basically around the wrist and then stabs up into the fold of it. But does not manage to strike true. Just missing a little shy to the left and glances off your wrist from the snap. Where before his short sword follows up at another cut to your leg, opposite the one he had stabbed. This particular blow catches you off guard and quite solidly for 12 damage. He seems very very accurate at targeting important locations.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Almost like he has sneak attack.
Okay, so sneak attack would apply.
His sneak attack does.
Okay, got it. I figured out what he is.
He then gives a soft little bounce and backs off.
Alright.
You're up.
I will move forward and go in for a slash.
Whoo!
And you bet your ass I'm gonna do one of my flourishes. Because I believe that's 2 more die.
You double all dice.
Yep, so that's going to be... Now I'm gonna add the first one for my defensive flourish.
So
that
you're
is...
doing a defensive flourish?
Yeah, my AC is 19 for the next turn.
Duly noted. 19 and a total of 12,
23 points of damage.
12 plus 7 is 19.
19. Yeah.
So 19 damage.
What?
You
7?
did 6 on the second die because you said you're adding the first die to your defense, right?
My defensive flourish is I can expend 1 use of my bardic inspiration and deal extra damage equal to the number you roll on the die.
Oh,
You
okay.
also add the number to your AC until the start of your turn.
Okay. I thought it was
No.
you get the damage of
No.
1 and okay.
No.
We're good. We're good.
Yeah, I just rolled 2d8 because crits.
So 23.
Yes.
Okay. For the record, keep those separate so that we can know at a glance. Oddly enough, while he is very skilled with the blade, he is not a very firm physique. And he's down.
I looked at the instructor like, should I heal him?
The instructor said nothing at this point. The door from where the kid was opens up. An individual in just fairly plain leather steps in, picks the kid his weapons up, carries him out. Very carefully, very kindly.
Yeah, I do. Give a bow as he is taken away.
And then a tabaxi steps in.
Ah, Okay.
Gives you a sword salute.
Do the same.
It's his turn, as unfortunately your turn ended with the downing of the kid in exchange there. He also rolled very good initiative. Your AC is 19 at the moment, correct?
Yes.
Okay. With only a half step, as you are on his side of the room from your recent bout, you pull your face back just as the natural claws of the tabaxi come rushing just past your nose. Good old cinematic style. And while the attack misses, there is a dull pain as there's a tap, gentle tap on your knee. No damage. And he seems a little sad. Like, you realize he had twisted his weapon around with his body and didn't quite get the momentum he wanted.
Alright.
You're up. He appears to be wielding a wooden longsword.
Okay. I will continue to use my scimitars. I'm gonna start with one, then go from there.
Okay. That is a hit.
Okay. I will. And let's go ahead and use another inspiration and use a defensive flourish again. So that is 10 damage, and my AC is 20.
20.
For this next
Okay.
turn.
Okay.
And bonus attack, I will go in with the second sword.
Okay. Also a hit, and a solid one at that, as your swords are almost seconds, barely a second between each strike. The tabaxi is forced right to the edge of the duelist platform to keep his feet. There's still no emotive response from your onlooker, but there's a low growl in the back of the fighter, your opponent's throat as he lunges at you. Unable to press through your current prowess, batting away for first his paw with the back of your hand, the one that you wouldn't have been able to use if the lad was properly armed, before another oddly weak blow from his longsword falls short.
Okay. I assume it's my turn now?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to, go for his, try to tap his arm with the longsword. With
Okay.
my scimitar.
Are you attempting to disarm him, or are you just trying to hit that specific arm?
Just trying to hit that arm.
Okay. Duly noted.
Boop.
That's a miss.
And then second attack, go for it. The one that he keeps trying to claw me with. The Baylor's blade.
Duly noted.
And that's also a miss.
That is also a miss. Seizing the opportunity as your attacks flounder, he steps basically right up under your attacks and against you, and very unexpectedly, as you've gotten used to the rhythm, claw strike, claw strike.
Strike claw.
Oh yeah, this catches you right on the windpipe.
Oh.
I need a con save.
Oh.
Okay. So you've taken 11 damage from the strike itself.
Okay.
And then from your seize for air, you've taken 3. But you manage to catch your breath, but it probably don't want to get hit there again.
I don't want to get hit again, period.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're fine.
Let me show you, bud.
I know, you're fine. It's fine.
Yeah, huh? Then my turn. I'm gonna try to just, like, put my swords in her cross and try to push him away with my attacks.
Okay, so are you attempting a shove?
I'm more thematic.
Okay, I'm
shove.
just making sure.
Yeah.
That is a hit.
Yeah, I'm not getting rid of my lung zealous. Defensive flourish
Okay.
again.
Duly noted.
So AC is 13 damage and my AC is 19.
Okay. You managed to down the Tabaxi. He crumples to his knee. He's still up, but he tries to rise up, and there is a very stern look. His nose is furled up, backs up from you. You are allowed an opportunity attack.
No, he's a opponent that is defeated.
Okay.
I'm acting with honor.
And as he steps out, a brilliantly vibrant red-headed elf steps in. She gives you a smile. It's not an encouraging one. It's like, you really shouldn't have gotten to me.
Looking at my HP, I agree.
Dancer Salon. One or two. Just the one. He's holding back, which is a shame, but press him.
I'm really not.
He can tell what you're capable of, i.e., you haven't used any of your magic.
I wasn't sure that was allowed.
That's why he said, and I quote, he's holding back.
Fair.
Now, whether or not your character realizes,
Whether or not I get the chance.
go ahead and roll it. Go ahead and roll an insight for me.
Boop.
There's that inkling of, wait,
Yeah, I could use magic this whole time.
and then there's that prey coldness that creeps up the back of your spine over your head as you realize the time it took you to process that there is something amiss. She just stands there. You realize she is letting you go.
Okay.
But she did step into the ring and up to you, as again, you are still on her side of the arena.
Yeah, I do. Step back to my starting position.
You actually back off. Do you back, like, this, as part of your turn you're backing off? Or when the Tabaxi was walking away?
When the Tabaxi was walking away.
Okay. So yeah, she's standing there. You have yet to see her draw a weapon. In fact, you see no weapons on her.
Okay. Third level healing word on myself. Because that was only one attack.
Okay. As you whisper to yourself, she smiles, and your spell goes dead. Now. Should have thought of that sooner. You've been countered.
I draw my blades and get ready. I mean, I hold my blades up in a ready stand.
You still have your action.
No, I attach. Or is this a different turn?
This is a different turn. When they switch out to combatants, your turn ends. Because it takes time.
It takes time.
Unless you're going to attack the person as they're leaving with your second attack.
Well, that means I only got, cantrips left to me. Because...
Now you have whatever you can do for an action.
Yeah. I'm going to Vicious Mockery.
Oh, and how would you like to mock this elf?
Thinker special with your counter spell. I never said Jared the player was good at this,
Okay.
and that shows in the damage.
As you try a cutting spiteful string of words, you just shh, it'll be over shortly.
I'm well aware.
Is that in character or out of character?
Both? Because I know I'm at my edge, and that's me done.
She reaches behind her back and slowly draws out this needle thin dagger. And then you fall asleep.
God damn it, she can't sleep on me.
Rip.
And that's your brain also realizes she drew an actual dagger.
Oh.
Zealous, it is about an hour before the door ever opens up again. You are constantly, every now and then, Delilah looks at you like, please just need something.
I never need much.
Wonderful. Ideal, when you wake up, you
Okay,
are
I
on
did wake up.
you are on a relatively comfortable bed. There is, out of the corner of your eye, that same vibrant red and a shooting pain in your left shoulder. It's not bone deep, but you look over and there is a bandage on it. Ah, hello there.
Hi.
I hope you don't mind, but you have been marked.
In what way?
She looks at the bandage on your shoulder.
Other than this.
You realize that she literally means you have been literally marked.
Literally marked. Okay.
Used to be, we would just kill you.
For what?
Well, if you can't make it to me and through me,
So I assume that means I am not welcomed here?
on the contrary, then Celeste says you do have potential if you would only have tactics.
And if I had realized that was a shield that he used.
Did you say that in character?
No.
Oh.
I should have, like, wait a sec. I hit the force.
And a bigger sword. Yeah, both the fights that you won fly back to you. It dawns on you that the Tabaxi wasn't a finesse fighter, and those claws looked a little more savage. But, what is it you hope to gain from our school?
Mainly the mastery of my blades.
Wow. Blade. Sorry,
And
State.
magic.
And that's when you realize she actually has your broken blade in her hand. She's just been twirling it over. We don't do sentiment here. We are only here for the Song of the Blade.
I will nod.
It's an exquisite sound, you know. Each find it their own way. If you are looking for tutelage, there are multiple styles, as you, I'm sure, saw on your allowed tour this morning. Oh, and your friend, I'm sure, is getting impatient. So let's do hurry along.
Yes.
I would hate for Delilah to get upset. She's very proud of her tea.
Unfortunately, I doubt my friend has
1d4 psychic damage, Zealous. Take that pun. Take that pun damage. But there is class tutelage. Your skills, when you apply yourself, she smiles, would put you past the hedges. But you are welcome to start below if you feel your form's inadequate. Beyond the hedges, you either train at your own leisure or with a mentor. And for your particular style, she smiles, there's only one available.
and who would that be?
Blades may be different, but our practices are the same.
Well,
In fact, while most of the practitioners here actually are of the School of Swords, you'll find very few like to share their secrets. Most most of us here, once you reach our talent, or even talent at your rate, find it more personal experience the best teacher. But I figured I'm here. I have nothing better to do.
well, at the very least, I give a smile. My new blade won't be finished for at least a week.
Lovely. Now, your brutish friend, not allowed past the hedges. Unless they would like to go through the initiation. And I assure you, the savage type don't fare well with it.
I will think back to the past couple times I have come across Zealous, aka all beat up and nearly dead.
Hey, that was one. Just one. I can take your whole school on.
You got your hand stuck in a wall.
They're not walls, are they?
Maybe.
They are walls of hedges. I will inform my friend of this. And until my. If you would allow it, I would be happy to train with you until my party takes a job.
Wonderful. She hands you your broken scimitar. You can see your other one is sitting on the bedside table. Um, next to a what appears to be a copper treble clef, where when it curls down and shoots to uh, the vertical part is a dagger. Yes, guys, I'm aware not all music uses treble clefs, but
Yeah.
it looks pretty.
I will go and get it. grab my stuff, put both blades back in on my hip. Realize I would probably end up leaving my broken one at home for the rest of this training.
There's one other thing you might consider doing.
What?
I mean, it's only something you forget to do with every NPC, apparently.
Oh, my name is Ideal, by the way.
Well, we all do seek our perfection. I am Songstress Alana. A pleasure.
Pleasure is all. Thank you, Mutt.
I don't keep to a set schedule, as you might find other instructors do. And I will note there will be times that I myself might feel the wanderlust. We all are, after all, seeking our song. But I can guarantee I will at least be here for 2 or 3 days to start off your training. And do look very eagerly to your worldly experience throughout the time.
I will bow. I will come find you tomorrow. Because I need to sleep.
She just motions you out.
I will go out.
Outside, there's an attendant waiting for you and very quickly guides you back down to the office where Zealous has been sitting. Like a good, just the best boy. Delilah, for the record, is very much not delighted as she's been sitting here with this pot and cup, just waiting. Like,
Wait, he's had one?
it's not clearly it's not made, but she's clearly been like waiting to do something. Just like need something, please. I've got one job here.
Delilah, may I have a delightful cup of tea?
Did you just use alliteration?
Yes, I did.
Fucking bards. That was her saying that, for the record.
I assumed.
But she presents you with a lovely cup of tea.
I will sip it, enjoy its flavor, say, Zealous?
Zealous, he has this big ass bandage around his shoulder, his right shoulder.
So, someone showed you why bigger weapons are better?
No, this was a tiny weapon.
There's a lot of looks your way at that comment.
Shrug.
Not your comment, his comment.
Ah. Well, let's. I need to go back and sleep. Cause, ow.
Okay. Zealous, do you help him go back, or do you have something you want to do for the day?
Well, I'm gonna spend some time taunting him for not being a real fighter.
Ouch.
Oh.
Go ahead, pick that fight, Ideal.
No, I still have 4 HP, I assume.
You're at 1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
not
at
gonna
1.
fit that fight right now. No, there will not be that fight picked.
There's an urge to just heavily pat you on the shoulder.
But about you guys are actually end up back at the residence right after you hear Bella's door close. Theodore looks at the two of you. I understand the camaraderie and all, but do you need to go get a hole just because your friend has one?
Wait, what?
It's the same. You have wounds on the same exact shoulder.
Oh, okay. I thought he was talking about Bella for an instant. It was really confused. Like,
Oh.
what kind of training did she go through?
Books.
Yeah.
So many books.
Well,
I'm
Yeah.
afraid I've already served the lunch for the day. I've got some cold in the back if you're hungry.
yes, very hungry. I would like the cold food. Thank you very much, Theodore.
Oh dear. I'll have it brought up.
I'm gonna stumble to room.
And I'm going to not stumble because I got fixed leg.
By the way, I'm gonna leave a couple extra gold for Theodore and I assume his desk.
Well, as he already has walked away to go get the food. You've only made about half of the stairs where you go, and then there's a sign like, huh. Well, that's mighty nice. Scoop, 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 scoop.
But I'm going off to the Brawlers Guild now.
Okay.
Because he got fighting in, and I missed all of it.
You actually don't know he got fighting in. You just know that he got stabbed.
Bad.
I mean,
yeah, for
you had the whole trip, so I don't know how much he told you. That's up to him.
I told him I got stabbed.
Okay.
Offer's still there to learn some real fighting.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Suit yourself.
Okay. Last scene for you, Ideal. As you sat in your room, Theodore has brought your food. It is a cold luncheon porridge of oats and some herbs. It's not bad. Definitely would have been better about 2 hours ago.
I used Presty to make it better.
Yeah, it's filling. It has that
Probably
property.
exactly what I needed.
Yeah, and then there the small mirror at the desk provided. You carefully change the You begin to change out your bandages to apply fresh, and you realize that the mark on your shoulder is a flesh carved songbird head. She was very delicate,
I can see that.
but it hurts like a bitch.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pop my last 3rd level spell and cure wounds that.
The mark scars over.
Well, not specifically the wound, just
Well,
me in general.
it still closes up and the skin
Yeah.
knits together into a scar as you accelerate your body's healing. Before you crawl into bed about the same time that the madam finally goes, okay, you better get some sleep now. Can't wait for tomorrow's lesson. She's so happy.
I know.
It is now 1 in the morning. I don't know if Beller or Ideal, if you got work in the mornings.
I'm about to fall asleep.
So if you would like to bow out, I'm be more than capable of running the run through for the Brawlers Guild here for Helmet.
I think I'm gonna head up too.
Y'all got your butt schooled.
But I'm bumped.
Literally.
Hey, I've defeated 2 people.
Night.
Nighters.
Child.
I'm not. I did not tell you who I beat. Just that I beat 2 people.
No, that's out of character.
Yeah.
I'll obviously, that I will keep the stream running for anyone who wants to listen in, but we will run through Zealous' scene before we call the session a proper close. Zealous, I do need either a investigation charisma
Night, guys.
night
Night.
or a survival as you try to find a way back to the Brawlers Guild from the residents.
Investigation charisma. Okay, so survival it is.
Okay. It takes a moment. About 40 minutes after arriving to the Tiefling residence, you manage to get yourself on the right path, and another 40 minutes thereafter, stumble your way into the humble building that is this branch of the Brawlers Guild. There's no fight out in the front this time. There are a few people sipping on heavy tankards, leaning against the walls on the outside. Several with welts either on their cheeks, wrapped up wrists and fists. One guy actually has his leg raised up on what appears to be a couple bags of rice and is laying down, clearly a swollen ankle. But everyone seems to be in high spirits. Then again, every time you've come here, everyone's been pretty friendly for a bunch of guys beating the shit out of each other.
It's camaraderie, not uppitties.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's camaraderie of its own kind.
Yeah.
Stepping inside, the inner hall is set up how it has been for the most part. A scattering of small pop-up rings roped off, tables strewn about. The large Goliathian individual is all the way in the back, sitting alone on a lone chair, tucked against the wall, kind of watching everybody. But otherwise, there's no other familiar faces. A few are standing about one ring just to the Goliath's right. And this is where your DM notes that he actually can't remember the name he gave the Goliath. It doesn't have that particular notebook on hand. So he's going to be the Goliath for the rest of the session. There you hear the familiar sound of fist against muscle. There's not any bursts of cheers. Every now and then you can hear a slight murmur. There's a tension here inside that isn't present in the jovial atmosphere just outside the door. Walking closer, you can see two humans, scrappy looking humans, and their fight is fairly emotion filled. Neither of them bear the wrist wraps that you were given, the membership wraps, but everyone's giving them a good deal of respect, and it's not any cheers, but it just looks like two men that they had something they just had to beat out of each other, and they're just going at it. To your right, the Goliath is. Hey there. Welcome back. Here for sport or to watch?
Sport.
Good. Looks you up and down, and you see his eye sits on your wounded shoulder. Something got you good.
I wasn't strong enough. I got him back.
Did you now? And how'd you do that?
Round 2. No weapons.
Oh. You lost with weapons, you say?
Yeah. They're not as trustworthy.
Now you're thinking like a brawler. Come on then. Let's see if we can find someone your level. He rises up, stands just a smidge taller than you. His eyes scan over the crowd. Brelis! Huh? Stocky, half-orc fella. What? Come on, you've been gaining too long. It's just turns and finally sees that sees there's another tall figure. Just for some, probably just thought it was his shadow standing beside him because it doesn't look like the brightest half-orc. Oh, some sport then. Yeah, sport. Don't go easy. And the laugh actually trails off as there's that look. Again, your shoulder wound being that you're not actually wearing armor is very presented, and he realizes what the Goliath meant. He's like, you sure? He either guards or he doesn't. Third ring's yours. Draw some of the crowd. That is directed at both of you. As he gestures to one of the rings. I'll be your watcher. Half-orc pushes his way out of the crowd. You can see a few guys watch him go. Look at the two of you and turn back. And right as they turn back, you can hear an audible crack of bone. There is a sudden silence over the group. And then there's another fist fall. And another fist fall. And then just dead silence outside of the footfalls of the half-orc walking towards the ring. He doesn't even look over his shoulder. You can hear very soft sobbing. And it's soon quieted with another crack of bone. A snapping sound. Partially familiar to you. It's when the fleshling's spinal column gets twisted up in a rapid succession. When the group slowly filters out, somber, respectful. As you make your way to the ring, you see out of the corner of your eye that two bodies are dragged off and out of the building.
You do fights to the death here?
Who you asking?
Just in general.
Are you the player asking, or is Zealous the character asking?
Tell us.
Okay. The half-orc stops, just in the middle of lifting the rope. That wasn't a fight. That was anger. Two souls that were torn and needed freeing after a cleansing.
I know that too well.
But come on now. Let's get to a happier bout, yeah?
Yeah. I enter the ring.
Okay. you need to warm up. I hope you don't mind. I've been standing around all day. He's kind of rolling his shoulders. So it doesn't take him. Makes it clear he doesn't intend to take too long.
I could do a small warm up.
Alright.
Gotta get used to the weight of my leg and all.
Okay, so quick rolling, getting the joints loosed, knocking the rust off, if you will. Ha ha ha. About 5 minutes goes by. You can see other rings starting to fill up. So far, there's not a crowd around yours, just the Goliath watching. Alright, you two, that's enough. Come on now. Alright. Fork smiles. Just takes his side of the ring.
Well, just a quick out of character question. Did I actually take the psychic damage for that pun?
No. Pun damage is not an actual thing, fortunately.
Thank you.
Does one last roll of the shoulder. Roll initiative.
Oh, roll 20. Why do you always freeze when I try to roll something?
Lay on, your turn.
Okay, forgive me. It's actually been long enough that I mildly forget. Alright, yeah, that's it. Attack, only option turn. Gotcha. And then I still can't find it.
Okay. You rush forward. Not used to the weight of the lake for fighting. Traveling, it's not the big bother, but you realize it actually is quite the impact on your leg, on your overall balance. As your blow goes wide, his wrapped hands pushing the fist aside.
I should probably just preemptively put up the attack rolls because. Ugh.
Okay, so that's your bonus action attack. No, you have extra attack. So you're not raging, so you don't have your bonus action yet.
No bonus. Just 2.
Okay. Come on, you can do better than that. There's a hesitation as he spits the words out at you. And you actually draw just past his face. You missed.
I know.
Okay. I need a athletics or acrobatics from you as his first attack is an attempted grapple. Okay. You manage to stand your ground as he butts into you. You can hear his struggle. He's here to have fun. I was like, all right, yeah. It was a child's tactic, but it would have been fun if he got it off. As there is a swing into the shoulder. What is it? I believe it's your right shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I remembered right. Just shy of hitting right on the wound. For 6 bludgeoning. And a move that clearly it was originally intended to try and just knock you on your ass, and instead he turned and curled the elbow in and slammed his whole forearm into you. You're up. This one just naturally misses. He seems very light on his feet. Quickly ducks under. And
Oh, so that's how this is gonna be.
your next slam would have got him square in the gut, but suddenly you're facing the wrong way. As your momentum carries you back around to face him, there is a catch right on your jaw. Had you been any lesser creature, it would have been a mighty blow, but your jaw is made of sterner stuff. And he has an actual audible grunt as he connects and gives his hand a worried look, like, oh boy, that's right, you're Tin Man over here. Taking 4 bludgeoning damage. And as that blow finishes, he goes to follow up with his knee, attempting to actually catch you right in the crotch, but as you are actually in the process of still spinning back into place, he misses. Takes the chance to step over and to the side of you, still adjacent to you. You're up.
I always have a bad time trying to figure out how to describe proper rage, but basically I had a description, I lost it.
Okay. So you're intending to rage.
Yeah. Bonus action rage.
So, feeling a little toyed with, kind of take that deep breath, settling into the first dark haze of anger, letting your instincts take over. Go ahead. This is just the rage, not your frenzied, right?
Just a rage.
Okay.
Not that I could bonus action attack right now anyway.
Well, when you frenzy rage, I believe you get the attack.
Yeah. Well, not on the turn you activate rage. Every turn after.
Okay. Those are both hits. As again, you give in more to just letting your body do the work for you, compensate for your legs strangeness and feel. You basically had a boiling metal poured in to fill in the hole. Um, give your torso a hard twist. For your right hand backhanded across his face, for the left catches him right under his armpit and shoves him a staggered step away. All right then. Control now. And his control now is followed up by a healthy grin. And he fucking headbutts you. He staggers back like, right, metal. Shakes his head. That's his turn done.
Well, I'm gonna smile back and then headbutt. Is that just regular, or is that?
It would still be your just a strength attack. Because I believe your iron fists are specifically when you utilize your fists.
It says that it's unarmed strikes. When you make an unarmed strike, you deal blah blah blah.
You are a metalhead. We'll keep going with it. So go ahead.
I should put that in as one of my weapon types, just because.
Okay. As your head comes flying forward, is hey! Very playfully and moves aside, whisk into the air, almost beginning to stumble forward as you follow up with your next attack. He ducks under your arm as you try to use your momentum to clothesline him. He continues his motion, flowing under your arm, and sends a kick backwards, catching you at the knee. I need a acrobatics check to maintain your balance.
That's dex, so I don't think it.
That is correct. You do not get an advantage on this.
Alright.
You stagger foot forward before you fall to your knee, and effectively all the way down prone. And he is on you very quickly. It's a meager blow, but he enjoyed himself in the action. You've taken another 4, reduced to 2, bludgeoning damage. It's your turn. You are prone. He didn't step away from you.
He didn't?
He did not.
Okay.
He may be prone, but you are still a very threatening individual.
Can I try grapple to knock him down?
You can attempt to. It's an attack, so it would be at disadvantage. But since it's a strength check, i.e. athletics, it would be canceled out from your rage. So just a straight athletics roll. You go to wrap your arm and try and pull. He, oddly enough, you see him physically sort of push himself into the ground like, "Aye, that's gonna take more than that."
I'd be returning insults, but I am, like Jera, bad at.
You're also raging.
Yeah. But like the happy kind of rage, because it's fun.
Do you stand up?
Yes.
Okay. So, rolling to your side after your failed trip attempt, you bound to your feet, and again he is immediately pressing onto you. Hapless blows that can't quite penetrate the veracity of your armor. You see, he's a little upset about fighting intelligent armor, but he's taking it in stride. You're back up. Oh, nope, look over here! Don't swing too widely. You are distracted and your blow goes wide.
I actually was distracted by that.
Bards, man, they're everywhere.
Ah.
Sorry, I got distracted. I went and I accidentally drew on the map, and then I went and dragged around in the empty black void around our little overlay, and apparently people had just like a whole bunch of empty text boxes just floating around. What the hell, people?
I was actually looking at that when I was writing that in, and I'm like, man, I wonder how much is getting lost out there.
But your second blow catches him even as he gives a jovial barb at you. Catches the tail end of a sentence, and he gives out a cough.
It's only fun if you play rough.
Um, Lifting himself up onto his toes to sort of follow the blow and lessen it a little. He rolls off your fist, and again, he slams into you. If it had been anything not made of armor, he'd be doing great. But you're just so tanky. And at this point, he's starting to shake his hands, and you see he actually looks over at the Goliath like, right on. Well, okay. Um, the quick exchange. Once again, another slam into you. Would have been a vital hit, but just can't quite pierce the wonderful craftsmanship that is your body. You're up.
Well, marred but wonderful.
Look, it took a Warforged to beat a Warforged down. Okay. As his fist is actually still against you, hand on either side, you come up with one more headbutt and crack it right on his nose. There is a loud crunch and an instant gout of blood out of his nostrils. He staggers for a second in your grip. He's no good to fight anymore. He's still standing, but it's not by much. Do you hit him with the other attack?
I hate when I have the answer and then I just keep losing it. No.
You just let him go?
He's been a good sport, punching metal.
Staggers and actually ends up leaning against you as you let go. Yeah, you won't feel offended if I say no to the next bout, huh? And, like, you get a good look at his hand. There's a bone sticking out of his left hand. He punched you hard. Alright. He's up there, you two. You look? No, not a crowd drawn. Glad seems a little upset. Do you intend to spend the rest of, because this is still only now going into the mid-afternoon, you plan to just stay here all night and brawl again?
Yep.
Okay. Roll me 3 D100s.
I'll admit I was kind of hoping that because the Goliath was like, hey, since I'm picking it for you, it'd be a little more of a
Challenge?
okay with fighting.
A little what with fighting?
Okay with it, or at least a little more up to snuff for fighting.
You talking about the half-orc?
Yeah, like I'm not saying he was bad at fighting, but specifically just he
You
didn't.
can tell both the half-orc and the Goliath were trying to size you up. There's no one here like you. There's no one walking armor. The Goliath, you're pretty sure if he stepped into the ring with you, it'd be probably a little weighed more into his favor. But this half orc, he wasn't bad.
No, not by any means. Just...
Yeah, like again, he has a bone sticking in his hand, and he's not screaming in pain.
Yeah. I'm not trying in any way to say that he was bad. Just...
Yeah, he just wasn't capable of damaging the suit of armor that is your body.
but at the same time wasn't particularly looking for a difficult fight. Because again, trying to adjust. And man, really gotta get that shoulder patched.
You have the next fight is another. In this case, compared to the half orc, was heavily swayed in your favor. Someone not really paying attention to your friend there, giving like, no, you really don't want to do that. It's actually another bronze glove member, as you see it dangling from his belt. And he literally just punches you once, and it's like, nope, 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 not doing this. Is bullshit. The second fight is a Riley little dwarf, and you are actually taken down and knocked out about 20 rounds in. So it's he was able to endure you more than he actually was able to beat you. Sturdy little bastard. And after a little bit of rest and recuperation, you fight another bronze glove, and it's pretty one-sided. And by your third fight, your ring has drawn a bit of a crowd. You see a lot of people. They're weighing you. You're being judged, favorably, mind.
I want to be judged.
But you brawl through the evening. A couple other fights. Most of them at this point are just exertions, just for the sake of exertion. Or it's not even just always fighting. Arm wrestling matches. One of the handful of dwarves, because oddly enough it's fairly dwarf populated. The dwarves really like fighting too. Roll in kegs, and you immediately go, great ale. It's no, they're weights, and they have contests to see who can lift the heaviest of their various kegs.
Definitely take ale after all the tea that's been offered to me. Ugh.
It was a great cup of tea, but it's about midnight when the drinks are flowing freely. Now, there's always a drink to be bought throughout the up to that point, but they finally crack open an actual cask for the overnight brawlers. And you get the impression by the time you stagger to slump down and get your shutdown period, in an alley not too far away, having no proper residence acquired for the evening, and unfortunately too lost to make it back to the guild hall. You feel like you made a pretty good impression.
That's good.
And that
I'm certain Union made a great impression too, if he just didn't throw that ale.
that is where we will officially fade to black for this session.